Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to take a look at a new release from Liong Mah. This is the Eraser model. Ships with a padded pouch, just as always. We'll move that out of the way, but the Eraser model has been around for quite some time from Liong. He did some collaborations with some custom knife makers initially, and then there was a production run, so some of the knife makers, quite famous. Phil Boguskowski, I probably butchered that name, John W. Smith, some sort of collaboration with Strider Knives on this design, and then the last version was a production run with CRKT, also called the Eraser. What was quite interesting about that model is as soon as CRKT discontinued it, it became immensely popular, quite difficult to find. This is obviously a improved version as compared to the one CRKT did. Better materials, better fit and finish, better quality. I mean, everything has been dialed up about 10 notches, including the price, of course. So we'll go through specs, overall impressions, details, all the normal stuff here, and try to do this in a timely manner. Obviously, we've got two versions. We've got a full titanium handled version, and then we've got one with marbled carbon fiber overlays. Kind of creates a bolster lock as compared to a frame lock, of course. So, you know, everything's titanium on this. I believe the hardware is all titanium. You know, we've got ceramic bearings and detent. Steel has been upgraded to M390. So let's jump into some of the specs real quick, and then we'll talk about the differences between these two. So we've got a pair of two here. I'll stick that sucker right in the middle. And you know, this is a big knife. There's no if, and, or buts around it. So we're going to see, you know, it's going to dwarf the dividend and the pair of two here. All right, so as you can see, I mean, we got a big long blade. This is a 4-inch blade with a 3.75-inch cutting edge. Handle length is 5 inches. Overall, you know, we're looking at a 9-inch blade. Now, the really cool thing here is that the knife only weighs 4.5 ounces for a knife this size, quite an accomplishment. And another thing that's really interesting is that both of these models both weigh 4.5 ounces, even though one has carbon fiber overlays versus the full titanium, and we'll talk about that in a minute here. Now, another really cool thing is that the blade thickness has been dropped to 0.145 inches, which I believe is the same as the Parrot here. Let's grab some calipers real quick just to verify those numbers. Hopefully not scratch these things up. So 0.142-ish. These zeroed. Shoot. Let's try that again. Yeah, okay. 0.1425. Damn, this thing will not zero. 0.1435. What? No, it's zeroed. Okay, 0.1435. We'll call it. I mean, on the specs, it's 0.145. And 0.145, so arguably the same or slightly thinner blade stock than the Parrot 2. Let's check the thickness behind the edge, which I believe is 0.025 inches on the Parrot 2. If we can get it on there. Yeah, 0.025. I've checked it many times. And then let's try to get this one right behind the edge. So, about 0.026, we'll call. Yeah, it seems fair. Yeah, I mean, basically what we're looking at on this one is essentially the same performance as a Parrot 2 in terms of stock thickness behind the edge. You know, S35. I mean, there's so many Parrot 2s, I won't even bother naming the steel, but M390 with the same cutting performance as a Parrot 2. I'd assume that the military is the same kind of blade stock, or is the same, you know, blade stock thickness and probably grind as the Parrot 2, but I've never had a military, so, you know, perhaps this would compare quite favorably with a Spyderco military. Anyways, so that's, I mean, I think that's it for the specs. Handle thickness is coming in at 0.5 inches. Again, M390 sheep's foot style blade. We have an opening hole here, well, flipper tab and an opening hole. So you have two different options as far as opening goes. Relatively thin, I mean, titanium pocket clip. I think that's pretty much it. All right, let's move along here so this thing does not run too long. Just a few more size comparisons real quick. I'm going to grab the Riot Jack, which again is also a 4-inch blade, so these are 2 peas in a pod. But you know, you're going to definitely see a difference here in the blade stock and so forth, and you definitely feel it in the weight. Although both beautiful knives, both produced by Riot. So there's one. Another one that's kind of in the same size range is going to be the ZTO 462, one of my favorites. Size-wise, they're very comparable. So there's another good one to look at in kind of the same size range. Overall impressions. It's really, really good. Some of the things that I really like that he did on this one, again, bringing down the blade stock thickness. It's something he'd wanted to do for a while, and people and customers had been asking for, and he finally talked David at Riot Knives into working with, you know, blade stock and this thickness. So that has been kind of a nice, I don't know, improvement for some people, probably for most people, but as always, not for all people. Nice belly. It's a 4-inch blade. It's incredibly well balanced. It feels light in the hand. It has really, really good ergonomics. So, you know, again, this reminds me of maybe like a Shiro 111, but with better ergonomics. So, yeah, it's very, very cool. Let's talk about the differences between these two, because I think it's quite an interesting difference. We're not just looking at one with carbon fiber overlays and one without, but on this full titanium one, we actually have a distal taper here, and you can see them side by side. Look at the difference in thickness between the two. So this is how they achieve the same weight. You know, obviously carbon fiber is lighter than titanium, but they removed more titanium on this one, thereby creating, you know, knives the same weight, in the same size with different materials. But it not only does it give you a different choice visually between overlays and not, but also the way it feels in the hand because of the distal taper. The butt of this knife feels smaller in the hand. So again, if you've got, I don't know, I wear an XL glove, so if you have large or medium hands, perhaps this one would be more comfortable in your hands. To me, they're of equal comfort because my hands are large enough to where it doesn't matter, but that's just kind of a really cool detail. You know, when you're looking at the difference between these two, it's not just a visual difference. So let's try to thickness 0.395. This one, it maintains the 0.5. So hopefully that helps to illustrate kind of the difference between these two. Again, I find it super interesting kind of as a talking point, or, you know, kind of a gee whiz type of thing when you're trying to choose between the two. So yeah, a lot of anodizing options, full titanium backspacer that you can choose. I carried the carbon fiber one the most, so let's look at this one a little bit more. Satin finish, just about a, you know, we'll call it a full flat grind for the most part here. Your pivot. One other difference is that this does not have a left and right hand carry pocket clip option. So for those of you who complain that I'm really tired of seeing filler tabs and stuff on his knives, well, that is no longer the case with this model, but it also leaves you left-handed users kind of out in the cold. So there's that. Let's just kind of get up close on this thing. You know, I've carried it, so there's probably lint and other junk all up in it. But ergonomically, again, you've got this kind of finger cut here, or a cutout for your pinky, and it gives it the feel of a fighter in the hand. It's almost like a flared pommel. And so it's, you know, again, XL glove. My hand fits perfectly into the grooves here, and it's very comfortable, very balanced, feels very lightweight. Can't get your finger anywhere near the back of the blade, and then you cannot get your finger anywhere near the tip. Another nice detail is that they milled into the backspacer a little bit so that they could optimize the blade to handle ratio. Nicely done. Lanyard post on the back, and God, do I hate reverse grips because I've never, ever, ever in my life used one, but if you want to pretend or think that you're going to use one, it is very comfortable in the reverse grip. There's jimping here on the back so it locks your thumb in. Yeah, no one's using that, but again, you may ask or want to know about it. Jimping is of medium traction, but You know, again, the ergonomics are so good, I don't think it matters. It's very, very comfortable. Flipping action, superb. Very, very smooth. This one's broken in because, again, I carried and played with this one quite a bit. It could get smoother, I think, if I cleaned it out and used my lubricant of choice. But it's very well done. Middle finger flick works very, very well. Using your thumb, I can get it sometimes, but not all the time. So, again, if you have smaller hands, maybe you'll have a better angle on this thing. But it's okay. It's not great for thumb opening, but again, I'm getting it pretty reliably here on the camera, where I typically fail more often than not to show you guys an opening method. So let's take a look at the back spacer here. Kind of an interesting kind of milled in type of thing, but you know, lots of anodizing options, especially with the titanium hardware, especially on the full titanium version. Some unique differences, but it's a home run for a 4-inch blade. Super useful, very nice to carry, great weight, great ergonomics, upgraded blade steel, thinner blade stock, no hot spots, very functional 3D milled clip. So really a lot of good things coming. On his future models, he's going to continue to use M390. That was kind of an upgrade choice he made, and he's going to continue to use thinner blade stock. So all very, very cool things. Last but not least, I guess price. These are not inexpensive by any means. The full titanium version is coming in at $420. The carbon fiber version is coming in at $465. If you buy these directly from Liong, from his website, as soon as he releases them, there's always an intro price that's, you know, more compelling. Some of the dealers may have them priced, you know, either at the $420 or $465 or slightly less. You guys will just have to look around and kind of see what you can find. So anyways, that is it on the Liong Mah eraser. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have been looking for a 4-inch knife that is perhaps a little bit more useful or a little more user-friendly, great option. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Take care.